All right, everyone, welcome back. Josh Beattar and Alex Goldman for FTS MMA. And this morning, we're very luckily joined by the man who is the eternal welterweight champion, Joseph Luciano, who, like we mentioned, had a bit of a late night last night. So we do appreciate your time, man. How are things this morning on this Saturday?
Yeah, it was a late night. I wasn't out on the piss or anything. Had a few boys fighting on Hex, so it was a great card, and cornering's always fucking hard work. I seem to be more tired after that and emotionally drained than the night fight, to be honest.
It's rough.
It's rough.
I can imagine. Well, look, let's get straight into it. It was obviously a hot topic, so I sort of wanted to get your reaction to Hex Fight Series 26, and obviously I know you had Sam Miles, who picked up a great first-round submission victory last night, and then also, the main event, which saw, Kevin Jousset pick up the welterweight title as well. What was your thoughts on that fight card overall?
It's funny, obviously that main event was pretty exciting. That's two very well-regarded welterweights in Australasia. So for me, I thought Kit, if he was going to win, it was going to be early with his pretty powerful striking, and it looked like he dropped Kev early in the first round. And then, the longer the fight went, Kev was more likely to win, and that's exactly what happened. So, yeah, good fight, and Kev's a double champ now, so it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, for sure. So, Joe, living in Melbourne, there are so many top tier and elite gyms that, you could choose from to train at. But, I just wanted to know, what is it about your gym that makes it click for you as a martial artist?
Yeah, okay. So, look, I'm not a recent addition to Absolute now, but just after COVID, my previous gym shut down, and obviously there was a few options for us to go to, and there was a few of the senior guys that we sat down and with our former coach, and he said, look, I think Absolute will be a good option. What I was lacking as an athlete, which was sort of the grappling and the cage stuff, and that's what Absolute's really known for. So, yeah, it just worked out. We came down, and a former student of my coach, Raja Shippen, was there, and he made everything all sweet. And within the first week, Simon was so welcoming, and just I saw the vibe there and the vibe we brought, and just it worked out really well. I won't say it was a blessing that my former gym shut down.
Yeah, of course.
But it kind of was, because I was a bigger fish in a small pond there, and then coming here, it was a bit humbling at the start, and it really showed what I needed to work on, and we have. And Simon's he's an absolute mastermind. Like, he's a real thinker, and it worked out really well for me going Absolute.
Definitely.
Even though, I'm from down Frankston way, and it was fucking far to come, but I moved up closer to the gym to solve that problem. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Well, look, and it did end up being, a great decision, because you did end up picking the welterweight title up in Eternal, which I'll get to now, which is, I do think becoming an Eternal champion these days has a certain prestige about it, and I think that's because of how many former champions have gone on to the UFC. Guys like Jack Jenkins and Della Maddalena and Shannon Ross and all these guys who have gone on to the UFC. How did that sort of feel looking back now, a few months ago, picking up that win against Caleb Rideout, knowing what was kind of on the line? Because for me, heading into that fight, I kind of thought whoever won that fight and came out on top would eventually get that Dana White's Contender Series or a crack in the UFC. So for you, how did it feel, internally picking up that win and picking up the title, knowing what it meant?
Look, I think Eternal's body of work, consistency, and having it. It's basically, I don't want to say it's a guarantee that if you've got that title, but it's pretty much a guarantee. Like, that is the premier. Like, you are the champ. Like, in my eyes, on Eternal. And look, I knew I needed to get that. So it's always difficult. Like, you put so much pressure on yourself day to day. For me, having the additional pressure of that, it wasn't that much greater than what I already have day to day. So I don't want to sound like, it was easy or anything, but the pressure I walk around with on these shoulders is huge day to day. So it was just slightly more. So it was okay. I wasn't too stressed.
Yeah.
For sure. So, Joe, while Absolute, is your current home, I was wondering, are there any renowned trainers or gyms, in particular, either in Australia or around the world, that you would really like to drop in and have the opportunity to train at one day?
Well, so I train at Absolute full time, but I also do some striking with Peter Hatton. He's been a long time friend and mentor to me. He was my old coach, Ed Bavlock's student, and he's been on the scene for a long time. And Pete and I just click, so that's on the local scene. Internationally, look, I think Henry Hoof's always a pretty cool option. I like what those guys are about. I don't know if I'd want to get my head punched in every day, but obviously those guys spar fucking hard from the looks of it. Henry Hoof's awesome.
Mm.
Ray Longo, because we're both sort of. He's an Italian American. I'm an Australian Italian, so that'd kind of be funny. I'd get the whole fucking Joey. Come on, man, that'd be cool.
New York vibe.
So look, Jackson's held a lot of prestige for a long time. I think they've maybe dropped off a little bit. Trevor Whitman's another one. I've just said all striking coaches, really.
I think you'd fit in really well at Extreme Couture as well, to be honest.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, with Eric Nixick and those guys.
Yeah, I actually hate Vegas with a passion. So
maybe not.
If they're happy to move somewhere for me.
Yeah, they just moved the whole gym down to Melbourne.
That's it.
Yeah, Eric Nixick, that's a great call too. Yeah.
There's definitely a lot of great gyms around the world, man. And as you progress, I'm sure you'll be getting some time in with them as well. And I know you did have a recent trip to Thailand, which you just sort of got back recently. How was that trip? I saw you did a lot of training over there and saw some fights as well. How was that experience over there, doing some training and getting some time away?
I've been going there flat chat for the last 6 months, sort of like 8 weeks there, 6 weeks back home, 8 weeks there. I originally started with Muay Thai, so having a bit of change of scenery from being in Melbourne, it's fucking cold and miserable sometimes. Yeah. Seeing some fresh faces and getting some Muay Thai in's been absolutely fantastic. And looking tan's pretty cool too, when everyone's all white and pasty.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. So, look, switching base a little bit, I want to talk to you about weight cutting in MMA. It's always sort of, a hot topic, when we see, extreme weight cuts or fighters getting hospitalized because of it. I wanted to know, do you ever see, extreme levels of weight cutting ever leaving MMA, or, is it something that's just kind of part of the sport, like how it is for college wrestling in America?
Man, I've been doing this for so long. I've done the extreme stupid weight cuts before there was any, like I shaved my head one time to make weight, which is what the fuck. So I've seen like the early stages of it where I didn't eat anything but soup for like 3 weeks before a fight. Yeah. And then now I work with Jack Doherty, the combat dietitian, and like they're using science. So it's super easy. Like he just goes, hey, dickhead, don't eat chocolate and follow the plan. Yeah. So that's sort of in the lead up to it. It's kind of simple. Calories in, calories out, correct nutrients around training. So that's in the lead up to it. Where I've found where Jack shines and where their system shines is that fight week. Like you're meant to feel terrible, but they make you feel good. And then on the actual weighing day, it's like, I've just got to drop a couple of kilos and I'm sweet. Yeah. So all that hard stuff, and then he goes, hey mate, don't eat chocolate the day before the fight. So you don't, and he gives you the refeed protocol and rehydration, and you do it. And you feel $1 million. So
that's awesome. Yeah,
bro.
Yeah, they're definitely good guys. Him and Geordie, they're very smart and very knowledgeable. I
wouldn't go that far and say they're good blokes. They're good at what they do. For sure.
Definitely. Well, look, man. Last one from me anyway. Is big news broke last week with the UFC heading back to Sydney this year for UFC 293 in September, and I know that'd probably get you very excited, and I know that's probably a card that. I was talking to Alex about this, off air, was that with UFC 290 coming up in Las Vegas, you've got so many Australian fighters. You've got Volk and JDM and
That's
Whitaker.
a real good observation, yeah.
Yeah, you got so many Australian fighters. It is going to be tough, considering if anyone gets an injury, it's going to be really tough to sort of rebound them for 293. So it puts guys like yourself in a very good position to potentially secure a spot on that prelim card and get your crack. For you, have there been any early talks or considerations for that card coming up? I know you just signed with Rival, and they're a great management company. So have there sort of been any recent talks with the UFC in that regard?
Are you trying to make me breach contracts and go under?
Nah, of course not.
Look, I will say, obviously, it's pretty clear that's what I would like.
Yep.
Before the announcement of that card, I had in my mind maybe doing Contender Series. I reckon that's a cool format.
Yep.
But with the announcement of that card, it's like, fuck, I really want to get on that. Sydney's a shithole, but it's still Australia. So, all jokes, please. No one stab me in Sydney.
Oh, I'm not joking. Sydney's a terrible place.
I actually love Sydney and all the people in there. You're not Gronks. It's awesome.
Only out the West.
Yeah. Hey, the West is the best.
Yeah.
I would love to get on there. It's no secret, hopefully. The great thing is, if I don't get on there, Eternal's doing a card.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be ready to go anyway if someone gets injured. So it's like I got the best of both worlds. Either I don't get on, I get to defend the belt. Hopefully there's some of the UFC brass there.
There will.
I'll throw some spin kicks and hopefully get signed.
Karate moves, yeah.
Yeah, like whatever happens. I'll be ready to go, and it's going to be a great weekend.
Definitely.
For sure. Well, look, Joseph, last one from me. So you kind of talked about how you started more in Muay Thai, and then obviously, early in your career, you were more of a striker. So I was wondering, moving forward, we're starting to see more and more MMA fighters test themselves in a singular discipline, whether that's bare knuckle, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu. Would you have any interest down the line, testing yourself maybe in, another Muay Thai fight on one or a mixed rule set fight? Do you have any interest in that, or is your sole focus MMA?
100%. Like, I fought pretty much every discipline all around the world, right? The two things I haven't done is a Muay Thai fight in Thailand. I've done it here, so I'd love to do it in Thailand. That'd be super cool. And I've never fought bare knuckle. So the bare knuckle kind of intrigues me a little bit, whether that's bare knuckle MMA or a bare knuckle boxing fight. It's kind of cool, man.
Yeah.
So, I'd be open to that. Pretty much, if you pay me enough, I'll do anything. And I mean anything.
Even go to Sydney?
Even go to Sydney.
Yeah, for sure. Well, look, Jose, thank you so much for joining us today, man. We really appreciate you giving us some time, especially on a Saturday morning here in Australia. Wishing you all the best with your training, man, and hopefully maybe we can see you on that card in Sydney later in the year.
No, I really appreciate that, mate. And thank you for putting some time into this and giving us a voice. The scene's really rising, and it's cool to be a part of that, and you guys are too. So thank you.
Thank you, mate. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Appreciate it, brother.
Thank you.